Welcome to Rod's Radio. 3, 2, 1, let's go!
Yo. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's J-Rod here, back with another episode of Rod's Radio. Y'all really liked the first episode, so we back at it today. I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm kind of puzzled. I'm baffled. There's not a lot of words that I could say to describe my emotions right now. Let's just get right into it. Yesterday, the Lakers re-signed Kyle Kuzma, a 3-year, $40 million deal. Kyle Kuzma is getting more than $10 million a year in the National Basketball Association. Why? Why is he given this opportunity? For what? What did Kyle Kuzma do last season that deserved $40 million? Honestly, what did he do? I get if this was his rookie year, but it's about to be his 4th season in the league. And coming off one of his worst seasons, we're extending him 3 more years, $40 million. Just why? What are the Lakers thinking? We're giving this dude money who's not even starting for the Lakers. You know, he might not even start this year. He's averaging 16 points for his career. Not bad. Last season, averaged 12 points, 4 rebounds, and an assist. He shot 43% from the field, 31% from 3. Average just under 2 turnovers a game. You know, that wasn't even his best season that he's had. The year before, he averaged 18. I just don't understand why they did this. You know, we locked up the core of LeBron, AD, KCP, and now Kyle Kuzma. If he doesn't step up this year and makes it known that he deserved this money, we're going to have a problem. We are going to have a problem. Because the shit he was doing in the finals, the shit he was doing in the playoffs, the shit he was doing during the season cannot fly this year. Cannot. There's a lot riding on this season, okay? There's a lot riding on this season. You want to know why? What did everybody say when the Lakers won the finals? What did everybody say? It's the bubble. It's an easy championship. People got time off. You know, it's not the same without crowds. Blah, blah, blah. Even if that was true, and now we're going into this season where it's a little different. I mean, I know all the arenas are not going to have fans, only a couple. But still, everybody's going to be back in their arenas. Players are coming back healthy. KD, John Wall, Giannis, etc. And Kyle Kuzma, who should be the 3rd best player on the Lakers team, doesn't step up and has another awful season like he did last year, we're going to have some issues. He's got to go. He has got to go if he does not fulfill his expectations. I was a fan of Kuzma. I always defended him. I always did. But last season was the final straw. It really was. I'm still a fan of the Lakers. Okay? Now, if he does turn around, I'll be happy for him. I'll be back to praising Kuz. I'll apologize. I will apologize to Kyle Kuzma if he comes out this season averaging more than 15. You know, being a productive piece of the offense. His defense did get better last season. I'll admit it. It did. But he's got to do better. You know, Kyle Kuzma is not the only person that got money. Another person that got paid, that got a max contract, was Rudy Gobert. Wow. The Jazz gave Rudy Gobert a 5-year, $205 million extension. Why? For what? Honestly, for what? Honestly, Rudy Gobert is not worth that money at all. I think everybody could agree that. Everybody. He's not a Jokic. He's not an Embiid. He's not a Cat. Why is he getting this money? 7-footer that could play defense sometimes is worth $205 million? What are the Jazz thinking? I get giving money for Donovan Mitchell. I get it. The kid's amazing. Spectacular. But Rudy Gobert getting $205 million over the next 5 years? It's like sometimes NBA teams just don't put thought into what they do. That's my take on things. Which contract is worse? Rudy Gobert's or Kyle Kuzma's? I would have to say Rudy Gobert just because he's getting more money and he's on contract longer. But Kyle Kuzma's extension was also bad. You know, maybe the Lakers are a shit show. Maybe they are, just because they just re-signed Kyle Kuzma. I say shit show because of what Jerry West has said. In case you guys haven't been in the news, it's being reported that a man was reportedly paid or offered money by Jerry West to make sure that Kawhi Leonard signs with the Clippers. Am I surprised by this? Yeah, I really am. Jerry West, former Laker, he was in the Lakers front office before. He's a former Laker. I thought he bleeds purple and gold. I guess not. It's insane to think that Jerry West went to this extent just to get Kawhi Leonard. In a leaked audio call, Jerry West has some strong opinions about the Lakers and Kawhi Leonard. Listen right here.
Excuse me, this is Jerry calling. I really want to thank you a lot for, trying to help. I heard this morning that everyone over in the Lakers camp think they're going to get him. I find that hard to believe that he would want to go to that shit show where he would not even wouldn't get his name in the paper, and he wouldn't be the face of the franchise, that's for sure. And he might be the best player on the team, but hope things are well, and again, I really, really appreciate everything you've done. I'll keep you apprised of what goes on, but I do want to get together with you privately and love to take you to the dinner and even Sam if he's around, so I can at least pay my respects to you guys for being so generous and helpful. Take care. Talk to you sometime soon. Bye-bye.
Wow, Jerry. Wow. I would expect this from a lot of people, but not Jerry West. Not in a million years. I mean, did he have to go this route? I don't think so, but he still did. Wouldn't get his name in the paper. Wouldn't be the face of the franchise, and might be the best player on the team. Now, I've seen a lot of Jerry West interviews. Sounds a lot like him. Listening to that phone call, you can hear the saltiness that he has for the Lakers. I mean, why does he feel this way about the Lakers? Kawhi Leonard might be better than LeBron and AD on the team. That was the narrative last season. Kawhi Leonard was the best player in the NBA. That was the narrative. Obviously, that narrative got shut down. He dropped down to top 5 now. But nonetheless, the Lakers, according to Jerry West, were a shit show. Maybe that was because Magic left the front office. Maybe it's because they traded away all their young core for Anthony Davis. Maybe that was the reason. I mean, are they still a shit show? Coming off their 17th NBA championship, coming off the best record in the West, and then adding reigning Sixth Man of the Year and the second in Sixth Man of the Year voting. Does that still make them a shit show? I'm surprised by what Jerry West said. I'm also disappointed. I'm sure Jerry West isn't the first GM to do something like this. No, I'm sure this happens all the time, to get a star player to their franchise. But the way it's coming out just makes Jerry West look really bad. It does. Should this bother the Lakers? No. They got bounced out of the second round. The Lakers won the championship. So, who's really the shit show? Moving on from this, we still got James Harden. The season starts on Tuesday. But James Harden is still a Houston Rocket. They don't play Tuesday, obviously. But it looks like James Harden's staying in Houston for the start of the season. We'll see how he reacts to that situation. It was reported that the Heat are no longer engaged in trade talks for James Harden. How many times has that came out in the media? And all of a sudden he's dealt to that same team. So who really knows where he's going? I would like to see him in Miami. I really would. But I'm not trading Tyler Hero. Not for James Harden. Duncan Robinson, yeah. And then a couple of the young guys, first rounders. If I'm the Houston Rockets and I'm talking to the Nets about trading James Harden to Brooklyn, I'm saying you got to give me Kyrie. You got to give me KD. You got to give me one of those two. Obviously, I think Brooklyn's more inclined to trade Kyrie than they are KD. If they trade KD for James Harden, that's odd. That's questionable. Really is. KD is a generational talent, but he's coming off an Achilles injury. We'll see how KD plays during the season. See if he can stay healthy. I hope he stays healthy. But James Harden, man, my advice for James Harden, just play it out, man. Just play it out. You have the ideal situation in Houston. You've had the power over the years. Now they want to compromise with you. What, you just want out just because you want out? What's the reason? You've been put in positions to win. You just haven't capitalized. And that's the Houston Rockets' fault. They've brought you a Dwight Howard. Obviously he didn't perform to what he should have. He still performed. They gave you good supporting cast. You've had Gerald Greens. You've had P.J. Tuckers. You've had Pat Bev. You've had Trevor Ariza. They gave you Chris Paul. They gave you Russell Westbrook. What more do you want them to do? They just traded for John Wall. They signed DeMarcus Cousins. Signed Christian Wood. You guys have three-point shooting. Why don't you stay and try to contend? That's all I'm saying. I would love to see James Harden be that guy to finish his career with the Houston Rockets. That would make him the greatest Rockets ever. Even though Houston never won a championship with James Harden, I don't think it was a failure. Not at all. And the only reason I think that is because James Harden has never been better than LeBron, KD, or Steph. He's always had to go against these people. I mean, never LeBron James, but always Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. It wasn't expected that he was supposed to beat those guys. Never was. James Harden's been in the positions to win. Just because he wasn't expected to win doesn't mean he couldn't have won. He was up 3-2 against the Warriors. James Harden has choked in the playoffs before. He choked against San Antonio one year. Manu Ginobili blocking his jumper. Come on now. James Harden just needs to chill out, take a deep breath, play a couple games with Houston, feel it out, and if he still doesn't want to be in Houston after they win a bunch of games, it's just going to be crazy because I just don't know what he truly wants. Does he want to be that guy to make a super team somewhere else? Or does he want to be one of those homegrown guys in Houston? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
And now it is time for my special guest, Mr. Keon Killins, a longtime friend of mine. He plays basketball at Clark University. So how are you doing today, Keon?
I'm doing pretty good. Excited to be here, bro.
Yeah, excited to have you. First I want to ask you about how's Clark? How's the team looking?
I mean, college is something different, something new. COVID got stuff being kind of weird, and it's just an adjustment from high school, but trying to make the best of it. And as far as the team's going right now, we played a few games, and we haven't been playing our best, but we still getting some wins. So hopefully we can play better going into the new year.
Yeah, you gotta take every day, get better. So I brought you here today to talk about basketball. You got a good basketball mind, so I might as well get right into it. There's going to be 2 games on Tuesday, the start of the NBA season. The first is the Warriors versus the Nets. Who you got in that game?
I got the Nets simply because they got to come out here and prove that they got to prove you wrong. You feel me? That they could play well together. They got all that talent. They really just gonna out-talent them, man. The Warriors, short-handed, just Steph, no Draymond even. So I'm looking for the Nets to go crazy, man. I'm really interested to see how KD play. I'm trying to see how healthy he really is.
Yeah, no doubt about that.
For real. So I personally think a healthy KD is the best player on the planet. So
is he though? I don't know. There's still a man named LeBron James that plays for the Lakers.
I know LeBron's the GOAT, but
never that, man. I don't think there's been one. That. I don't think there's been one day in the NBA that Kevin Durant has been better than LeBron James.
I think when Kevin Durant came down the court and he pulled in Bron's face, I think that he surpassed him right then and there on that shot. I was like, oh man, this man KD is tough.
I mean, I feel like when he was in Golden State, I feel like his game just like elevated because of the people around him.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
You feel that?
So we gonna find out today how he playing with Brooklyn. So
We will. And you got Mr. Conspiracy theorist Kyrie Irving. So we'll see how those two play together.
Conspiracy or not, that man is a bucket. I
He is
don't
a
care
bucket.
what nobody say. He's still cold at the end of the day.
But does he even see the playoffs if LeBron never goes there?
No.
Yeah. I mean, that's just another like what if. But I mean, is Kyrie Irving is he still considered a top 5 point guard in the NBA?
Yes, for sure. Kyrie's definitely a top 5 point guard. Kyrie's the third best point guard in the NBA. You don't remember what he was doing pre-injury last year?
That's true. That's true. I mean, the Nets still struggled to win games even with that. But
Kyrie Irving himself, he might not be a winner for sure, but that man can hoop.
No matter what Kyrie does, they still have a good supporting cast. Carvis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie,
For sure.
Joe Harris. So we'll see what this team does this season. There's another game going on right after that. The Lakers versus the Clippers. Who you got?
This is a hard one because the Lakers, they just got done playing a month ago. I don't know how hard they're going to come out trying to hoop. And Clippers, on the other hand, they got something to prove. So I'm going to go with the Clippers whole time. They got something to prove. They out here, they going to bust their butts trying to win a game. And the Lakers got worse.
Why do you think the Lakers got worse?
They lost their third best player in the playoffs, which was Rondo. They lost him. And I'd rather have Rondo than Schroeder. That's just me. Schroeder's good and all, but I'd rather have Rondo.
I mean, Rondo did bring that winning pedigree to the team. I'll give you that. But I feel go on.
I said then losing two bigs like Dwight and JaVale and replacing them with Marc Gasol. And Trez is a good addition. He's better than both of them were, but I feel like Marc Gasol is worse than both of them were. He's old.
I think they upgraded from JaVale McGee with Marc Gasol, but they did take a step back with Dwight Howard and not bring it back Dwight Howard. I'll give you that. But JaVale McGee was just running around in the playoffs. It was ridiculous.
And then they benched him. So
yeah, that solved their problems. God knows what would happen if he was going against Jokic.
Yeah, but I feel like the Lakers' biggest plus is really just playing Taylor. Like if Taylor goes to play, that's a win for them. Right. Just that right there.
Yeah,
but I feel like
Kyle Kuzma was averaging like 25 in the preseason. So I mean, does he finally take that leap everybody's waiting for and becoming the legitimate third best player on the team? We'll see.
We'll see.
I mean, I hope he does. He's, got extended 3 years, $40 million, which is absurd. There's no reason Kyle Kuzma should be making $10+ million. But anyway, with the start of the season, we got to make some NBA award predictions. Who you got for MVP?
MVP, man. The safe option, I'm going to go with Anthony Davis, man. He had a great season last year. I feel like he can only build on that. Playing with LeBron, he can only play well. So he's a monster in his own, but playing with LeBron James just brings something else out of him. So that's that. I feel like a dark horse nobody's thinking about right now is Steph Curry. This first time we seen Steph without all the all-stars. So let's see what he can do. Last time we saw him like this, he was MVP caliber. So. And also, I see Damian Lillard in that conversation whole time.
Yep, always. What Damian Lillard was doing in the bubble was amazing. I didn't.
But
he
said it himself. He said I wasn't traveling; it was easier.
That's true. He said, "Yeah." I mean, you think the bubble was easier?
I mean, I feel like it depends on the player. Like Paul George said that it was a mess for him, but.
Yeah. I mean, he's just said, trash. So
he's trash. Like I don't know if I'm ready to give up on Paul George, man.
You're not? After this,
a year ago from today, we was looking at Paul George. 2 years ago, we was looking at Paul George as an MVP type player. When he was on OKC, he was an MVP type player in the regular season.
In the
playoffs, he was hurt.
I'll give you that. But ever since now, it's just like ever since then, I mean, it's just been downhill for him. He's just not the player that everybody thinks he is,
I don't know. The Clippers must think that he is extending them. So, and I don't think they had no other option to do that really, because they can't let him walk.
That's true. They gave up a lot for him, but I mean,
yeah,
let's see if he requests a trade in a year or two.
Yeah,
I mean,
we'll see.
Kawhi Leonard, they didn't extend him, did they?
No.
I don't know where those two even go at this point. Like who like what contending teams would go after those two?
I mean, anybody going after Kawhi, everybody's going after him.
True. I mean, yeah. I mean, even and then that stuff came out about there's a dude convincing Kawhi to come to the Clippers and with Jerry West laundering money.
Oh yeah, I saw that video.
We'll see what that team does. Hopefully they can come back with a vengeance this season, make the NBA more interesting.
For sure, only time will tell, man.
Yeah, not give up 3-1 leads. But no, back to what you were saying about the MVP. Those are all good choices. Steph Curry especially, because I feel like this season it'll finally like really show that he really makes people around him better. And I feel like that's you take that into consideration when comparing the elite guards of past, and I feel like people will start to talk about him more about being the greatest point guard ever.
Yes, and if he wins this MVP, he's the greatest ever.
Oh yeah.
People really do sleep on Steph in that conversation. Like Magic Johnson's a clear favorite, but people really do sleep on Steph.
Right. They bring in names like Isaiah Thomas or
yeah, Steph's already surpassed those guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. I mean, the greatest shooter of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, the things he's done is just ridiculous.
Yeah, people talk about Mike when they talk about changing the game, but Steph really changed the game.
Yeah. Compare my jumper before Steph Curry and after Steph Curry, I got better because of Steph Curry. Keon's seen that a few times in the gym before. Don't lie.
Yeah, all right.
All right. Most improved. Who you got? Who's coming out this season? Better.
I'm gonna go with Christian Wood. He's out there in Houston, especially if they find a way to keep James Harden, which I hope they do.
For sure.
He's only gonna play better because Christian Wood, James Harden, he's just gonna have a lot of open shots, a lot of easy opportunities playing with James Harden.
True.
Simply because defense is gonna key on him, and he's gonna be coming off a lot of pick and rolls with him, so he should be able to eat.
I mean, if you're James Harden, like I get like I don't know, they haven't been winning championships, but like I mean, they have a team around him that could definitely, take down the better teams in the West.
Yeah, they have a contending team possibly.
Yeah,
but it's a lot of what ifs. It's a lot of questions.
It is. I mean, they've always been a 3-point shooting team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
do they have 3-point shooters right now?
I think they do. Daniel House, Christian Wood can shoot the 3, can he? Boogie Cousins can shoot the 3. Most improved, I got PJ Washington on my list. I think he'll finally take that leap with the Hornets. I mean, I still don't think the Hornets make the playoffs with his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Another one could be Trae Young.
Trae Young could be an option. He can come from he an all-star last year? An all-star to a top player in the league.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Luka just made that jump. I agree with that.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of people might say that the Mavs were the only winners in that trade. Because they got traded for each other. But I feel like Trae Young is gonna be a phenomenal point guard.
Trae Young is a hooper, man. The future of the NBA is in 3 or 4 dudes' hands. Trae Young, Luka, Ja, those guys right there. I feel like that's really the future right there. Those 3.
I mean, the only bad side about Luka is defense. I mean, not Luka, Trae.
Yeah.
Trae Young is his defense.
Well, we've seen that. A lot of the top guards in the NBA don't play defense. Steph Curry is not a defender. Kyrie Irving doesn't play defense.
I mean, that's one thing you could teach in the NBA though. Is like is defense, because when Steph Curry first came out, he was terrible. I mean, it's not like he's a lockdown defender now, but he's definitely a better defender than he was.
Yeah.
I mean, these people have the best trainers in the world.
Yeah,
like,
that's for sure.
you know, it's all
And
about
defense is also more of a team effort.
right, and it's just all about if you want to get better.
For sure.
Ben Simmons, I don't know why he doesn't have a jumper yet. Does he want to get better? I don't know. Rookie of the year, who you got?
It's hard because I don't know. A lot of these rookies, they just haven't shown us. We haven't seen a lot from them. I feel like
True.
it could be a toss up. I feel like LaMelo got a chance to win. James Wiseman has a chance to win. A lot of these dudes just really have chances to come in and make an impact right away. So I feel like you can't go wrong with those two right there. Like you were talking about PJ Washington. If PJ Washington were to make a jump, that just only makes it better for LaMelo's chances to win.
Right. You know, LaMelo's got a lot of pieces around him. You know, LaMelo likes to share the ball. Given explosive guys, you know, he could drive, alley-oop, slam.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's James Wiseman just because he's playing with Steph Curry. Given a big, Steph Curry makes them shine. We've seen it in Andrew Bogut, David Lee before, even DeMarcus Cousins with the time he was there.
Yeah, sure.
You know,
That's fact.
the defense is always watching Steph. And Steph's a great passer.
I'd have to agree with that for sure.
Sixth man of the year. Who you picking?
I think that if Montrezl comes off the bench for the Lakers, then he'll win Sixth Man of the Year because he'll play a lot of minutes and he'll be contributing to a lot of wins.
Yep.
So that's that. I also think if Brooklyn, if they're healthy all year and they're playing, then Karis LeVert could win as well.
Really? Oh yeah, he's gonna come off the bench, right?
Yeah, he's gonna have to.
Yeah.
So,
you know, let's see how he fits in that role. He's definitely a starter in this league, but with the team he has, we'll see. NBA players, you know, they have the right to think they should be a starter, but like at the end of the day, it's a team. You're still playing a sport. You know, you're under contract. You gotta do what you're asked to. It's said all the time by coaches. You know, just embrace your role. Be the best at your role.
yeah, for sure.
So we'll see. For me, it's gonna be Derrick Rose. Well, I think because he's coming off the bench after Killian Hayes is starting, and you know, Derrick Rose, one of the best point guards to ever live.
And nobody can argue about that, man.
Nobody can argue about that. You know, him teaching Killian Hayes, you know, with the team around him, he's still a good passer. You know, he was averaging almost 20 last year, if not 20. So I feel like him coming off the bench, you know, at his age, I still think he's a starter in the league, but I think he could thrive off the bench.
Sure, get him out of there though.
Oh yeah,
we don't want to see D Rose in Detroit.
He needs to get a ring, man.
Sure.
I don't care who it is. If they beat my Lakers and Derrick Rose on the other team, I'm happy.
Bro.
Yeah. Last award, Defensive Player of the Year.
I have to give it to Anthony Davis, man. Like I said, like he's just out here trying to prove a point. He got snubbed out of the award last year. He wants that award, man.
True.
He wants that award. He's got to win one. He's got to win MVP or Defensive Player of the Year this year.
For sure.
He's got to. And if it's not Anthony Davis, then I have to go with Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart, scrappy, attitude, always gonna come out there and play D. So I feel like other guards are scared to play against Marcus Smart at times. So I feel like he can have a chance as well.
Yeah, that's a bold statement with Marcus Smart. But you know, he's always been a good defender. But when's the last time a guard has won Defensive Player of the Year? Yeah, I mean, Anthony Davis, not a bad choice at all. I feel like he's one of the only bigs in the NBA that you could still bet on winning either MVP or Defensive Player of the Year. Not a lot of bigs can put themselves in that conversation. You know, I would pick Anthony Davis too. Another player is Bam. I think Bam's a good defender, and especially if the Heat have a good season this year, you know, Bam could definitely be up there in that conversation. I mean, he's a versatile big. He's not just blocking shots; he can get some steals.
We'll see for sure. See, like when I'm looking at Bam, though, I feel like Bam is just a lesser Anthony Davis. So
yeah.
I can't see that.
No doubt. Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully Anthony Davis brings back that same defensive energy he had last season.
They need it.
Yeah. If he does that, it's a clear runaway. before we get out of here, season's about to start, so make your final predictions. Who's coming out the East? Who's coming out the West?
Right now, I know you don't agree. You don't mess with the ball dominant players in Brooklyn, but those dudes, the talent there is just the talent is crazy, man. I don't see no team in the NBA matching up one-on-one with those dudes in Brooklyn. So, and if they don't, it's their own fault. It's Kyrie being Kyrie. Yeah, and then out the West, I feel like the teams to be in the NBA is going to be the Lakers. I feel like they can be beat, but everybody gonna have to go out there and beat them. So it's really up to the Lakers to hold their own and stay on their throne.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, Brooklyn's kind of similar to Lakers in the sense that maybe a lot of teams might not be able to beat them, but the only teams that could beat them are themselves. And with the Nets, I feel like it's just injury wise. I mean, can they both stay healthy the whole season? I don't think so. But if they do, it's going to be dangerous. I got the Lakers obviously coming out the West. For the East, I got Miami. I feel like
honestly,
Miami's still that team. I feel like they're still that team to beat with the pieces around them. Just
I ain't gonna hold.
Did it? I feel like this would be the last year that they would make the finals, and then they'd have to make some upgrades.
Jimmy Butler as your best player in the finals on a regular year, I don't see it happening. And his supporting cast is just super young.
Jimmy
Duncan was
like
shooting
that, man.
out that ball, man. Tyler Hero was playing well. The Bucks got better as well. So I feel like I don't see the Heat beating the Bucks even. Drew Holiday and Giannis and Chris Middleton is still there. Their bench is pretty sorry, but who's on the Heat's bench? Kendrick Nunn. That's all I can really name.
It's a dog, man. I mean, they got Kelly Olynyk, Duke can score the ball.
Saying.
They got a lot of scores, and they're just like they're goons. They're straight goons, man. They are.
I just don't know if they can hang with those other guys, man. Drew Holiday, he's been in the league a long time, bro.
They got Goran Dragic.
Effective.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see how those two teams play against each other. I feel like the East does come down to those two teams, Miami and Milwaukee.
And Giannis is showing every year some type of improvement, man. I feel like he's either gonna come in with some type of improved jump shot or a post game. And if he comes with a post game, that's hard to guard, man. Because if that dude could come downhill unstoppable and then come down the next play and post up, then I don't see teams beating them easily. Especially if they're gonna struggle guarding Giannis.
I mean, if he does come out with improvements, it's gonna be tough. That he's locked up the next 5 years. Do you think he wins a championship in Milwaukee?
I think Giannis wins the championship one of these days, man. It's up to him, man. No other NBA players came in and won right away. So all the greats had to wait their turn. Mike had to wait. LeBron had to wait. Giannis got to wait too, man.
That's a good point. I feel like with the NBA, just a lot of teams getting better. I don't think he could win in Milwaukee. I feel like he does end his career with at least one, regardless of where he goes. I don't know if it's in Milwaukee. I doubt in Milwaukee, but we'll see. Yeah, so it was great having you, Keon. I hope to have you again on here.
For sure, bro. I hope to come again.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. I'll see you, man.
All right, bro.
All right, so that will do it for this episode of Rod's Radio. I appreciate everybody that tuned in, everybody that listened. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Rods_radio and follow me on Twitter at Rods_radio. That's at RODS_RADIO. I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. The next podcast will be posted on Saturday. And with that being said, I just have one thing to say. Rod out.